From the early days of these vibrant spandex suits to some high-tech looking upgrades that we see today, the evolution of Power Ranger suits has gone pretty far. And I think now is the right time we take a look at the Power Rangers attire from the last 30 years. Witnessing not just the fashion choices that some of these Rangers go through, but also to check out the visual representations of some of these guys' powers. Power Rangers and suits are ever evolving, and each year we see a new way to get creative with them. And this remarkable ingenuity has brought it to become one of the biggest symbols in heroism ever. Unless you think of them as rubber monsters and Party City suits, but we'll save that for another time. Hey, what's up everybody, it's Este here, and today we're talking about the evolution of Power Ranger suits. Now before we get into Mighty Morphin and what happens after, we actually got to take a look at what happened before Mighty Morphin. As we know, Power Rangers has came from the Super Sentai series over in Japan, and they had 15 series before Mighty Morphin ever happened, or as they called over there, Zyuranger. Starting with Go Ranger in the 70s, they looked a lot more like jumpsuits, with one big symbol on the helmet, zippers, big emblem on the belts, popped up collar, and of course, capes. Personally, you gotta love the capes. I wonder when they're gonna bring those back. But as the show evolved in the future, the suits also evolved to make their proper mark. Jaka had card symbol visors and the multicolored Big One. Battle Fever J was hideous, but hey, they had scarves, kinda like a Kamen Rider. Actually, a lot of these early ones were pretty hard to look at. And I'm looking at you, Gogol 5 and Denji Man. But I guess this time was great for experimenting. Dynaman had, baseball looking suits. Yeah, apparently before was the show about explosions, it was about baseball. While shows like Bioman and 5Man played a lot with the design in the center of the suits. They also had two Red Rangers with bird themes like 3 years apart. What was up with that? But once we got to Zyuranger, Dairanger, Kaku Ranger, the rest of Super Sentai, we saw a lot of evolutions that made their way over to Power Rangers. Whew, this could be a doozy. So now we begin our journey with the series that started it all, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Red, blue, black, pink, yellow, and green Rangers captured our hearts with these vibrant and unique suits. When you combine these dinosaur-inspired helmets alongside these vibrant colors, they became an instant hit for fans around the nation. They had a lot of white accents as well as a diamond pattern on their chest that followed their way into their boots and gloves. The Green Ranger also featured an alteration by having a cold shield in front of it, noting that hey, this Ranger's different and more powerful. And while the original team suits came from Kuryu Sentai Zyuranger, the White Ranger from Season 2 of MMPR came from Gosei Sentai Dairanger. And while not following the exact same mold as the Zyuranger suits, notice the missing power morph on the belt, it being one solid color does help, and having a shield similar to the Green Ranger also helped as well, especially when Tommy was coming back into the role. But hey, did you know that in the Power Rangers Super Legend toy line, they made a White Ranger figure with the diamonds on it? I think that was pretty cool. For the 1995 movie, the suits got a rubbery makeover with a more muscular design compared to the spandex. They had knee and elbow pads added to their costumes, and the power coins were on the chest. Actually, this was more to correlate with the toy versions of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. If you were a kid back then in the 90s, any type of Mighty Morphin merchandise that came out, the suits were never accurate. They had power coins on the chest. I guess to differentiate them more? For Season 3 as well as the movie, they got these ninjetti forms, which had white wraparound belts, hoods, and headbands. These things looked more like robes, to be honest, and not necessarily like ninjas, but hey, here we go. They had power coins on their chests too, just like the toys. And hey, elements of the MMPR suits can be found in these ninjetti forms. Like the diamonds of their spandex can be found on the cuffs and around the suits as well. Common question of the day though, what is your favorite Power Ranger suit? Me personally, I would have to say it's the Omega Ranger. No, not the SPD one. No, not the one from the comic books, but the one from the Power Rangers Super Legend game. I don't know, it just looks too OP. It looks like a god. Leave your answer in the comments down below and leave a like to lock in your answer because 1,500 likes and I'll do more videos just like this. Now when the aliens of Aquitar came in, they didn't gather these Mighty Morphin suits, they had their own suits because they're from another planet. And these definitely were more minimalistic and uniform, as the patterns were simply stripes and the costumes are mostly a solid color with a gold belt, with the helmets being the only different aspect besides their own color. They also had a holder on the back for their sword, of course, very ninja-like. But as the franchise continued, we noticed that we couldn't stay with these Mighty Morphin suits forever, so we had to move on to O-Ranger in Power Ranger Zeo. And since O-Ranger didn't have any white or black Rangers, the team had to reassign their colors. And these suits were definitely sleeker and offered a more modern look. with geometrical shapes, which make for sleeker visors, as well as more triangles, as well as intricate golden accents. 6th Ranger still has a shield here. It's now gold and very shiny. Thought it was a cool addition. But let's not forget when they ditched these Zeo suits for turbo suits. These turbocharged designs look like racing jackets, and they would have car-themed helmets that will look like a front windshield with headlights and all. And even if that was cool looking in the morphing sequence at the end when we go choo choo choo, it was mid. In Power Rangers in Space, these suits looked more cosmic than ever, more circular if anything. The helmets looked like astronauts a little bit. They had wide visors, that little black part in the helmet that shines the computer in the morphing sequence, okay. The suits were all pretty similar and uniform, even the Silver Ranger, only having some notable changes. They also had like a stripe in the middle of the suit with each of the individual Ranger colors. Thought that was nice too. For the following season, Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, they were the first one with animal motifs that weren't like the Jurassic ones in the past. It definitely did feel a little more Mighty Morphin-like, with zigzag patterns on the chest and other areas. Literally some Charlie Brown looking like suits. Magna Defender though, I can't explain that. Literally a bull. Literally a beast. Let's let him cook. Lightspeed Rescue had a burst pattern that would actually go on to the Ranger as they morph. I love watching the instant morph when the Lightspeed Rangers would put out that burst shield and they would run through and their suit would come. I loved it so much. These suits actually also featured a visor that covered most of the entire face. This show also featured the first American exclusive Ranger with the Titanium Ranger, made by the same creators of the Go-Go 5 suits from Super Sentai. And instead of having a burst pattern, it had a very simple, silver suit with some nice golden accents on it as well. You know what's evolved more than Power Ranger suits? The E-Squad. You saw where I was going there. Subscribe and ring the notification bell to join the E-Squad today, the best fan base in Power Rangers history. And leave a comment down below with the E-Squad in it and you might be in the next video. 100%. Power Rangers Time Force embodied a high-tech aesthetic, featuring similar arrows on the chest and the helmet. And hey, what about the bike? The bike too. They all must be from Florida the way they're matching each other. Silver and black accents too make the suit really pop as one of the best. We also had 2 different Red Rangers in this show, but the other one had ridges on their arrow. Ooh. Later in Power Rangers Wild Forest, we saw the return of nature-inspired suits, featuring animal-themed helmets and vibrant colors that represented the wild animal spirits that were harnessed by the team. They even featured a gold sash, like they were in a pageant or something, or they got it from Party City. One of the two. Also, I will gotta say the 6th Ranger didn't really look that special, or 6 in the first place. Moving on to the Disney era, we had Power Rangers Ninja Storm that brought a refreshing change with actual ninja themed suits. Similar to that Titanium Ranger suit, the Rangers had helmets that could remove when they talked to each other. The Ninja Storm team definitely had some of the most differentiating suits within each other, as the main team had this tank top design that had silver on the arms. It was cool. The Thunder Rangers also had some shoulder pads, as well as the main 5 having symbols on the front, while Samurai Green also returns with a shield like the 6 Rangers of the past, but also a helmet that could have another side for Super Samurai mode. But moving on to Power Rangers Dino Thunder, we had dinosaurs again. Prehistoric AF. But remember the diamonds from the Mighty Morphin chest? They're on the arms now. Nice change! We also had a footprint Dino logo on the front, very uniform, with the black and white Rangers having additional pieces, like the Black Ranger having shoulder pads and white having a full-on shield. Next up, we have Power Rangers SPD that embraced a futuristic law enforcement design. They had bold colors, big numbers on the chest, and literally handcuffs on the belt. Sheesh. The top of their visors also had this little black piece that would separate, and also telling what number of the Ranger they are. Like Jack had 1 solid piece and Sid had 5. In Power Rangers Mystic Force, magic took center stage, and the suits incorporated mystical elements like an M shape that goes down the whole suit, enchanted wing creatures on their helmets, and the best part, capes. We did it. We did it. We bought back capes. We gotta bring them back again. I wonder when they'll come back again. For Power Rangers Operation Overdrive, we saw the introduction of Explorer-themed suits. With metallic armor... Oh my god, bro. No. With metallic accents and gear-like additions, like grills and headlights, like the ones in Power Rangers Turbo. There's also a white stripe in the middle, kind of separating the suit in 3s with the Operation Overdrive symbol in the center. And you can tell that these suits were definitely influenced by man-made cars, as well as other vehicles like race cars, submarines, and even a bulldozer. But hey, the 6th Ranger has shoulder pads. Wow. Power Rangers Jungle Fury shifted the focus to martial arts with animal-themed suits once again, and these represented different kung fu styles. and also stripes and animal markings along the side of the suits, which really make it look cooler than the rest of the suits. You know why? Because these suits had no belt. How were they holding up the suits? But Rhino Ranger has a sash. How does that work? Power Rangers RPM took us into a post-apocalyptic world, and the suits kind of felt like a mix of both Turbo and SPD. We got numbers on the chest and headlights on the helmet that look like eyes, by the way, googly eyes. Thank you, Ziggy, for that one.
They are not eyes.
What did he say?
They're optical field scanning.
But we have this seatbelt harness on the chest that we can actually see in the morphing sequence, and it's a pretty good look. And switching from black and gold accents to the different Ranger factions was also a nice touch. The Rangers' ears? Vroom, vroom, vroom. They're wheels. Gold and silver? Double seatbelt. Protection. In Power Ranger Samurai, these suits embraced the traditional Japanese samurai aesthetic, with the chest resembling a kimono of sorts. But hey, it's not complete without those Japanese kanji on the helmets explaining the different symbols that each of the Ranger has, like, you know, Jaden's one being fire. Also, it looks like they have pants now. Proper pants. They also introduced Mega Mode in this season, which was one of many cockpit modes seen in Power Rangers history, but this definitely was the biggest change because it was completely different from the regular in-show suit. It had ridges galore and just looked more technical and definitely more modern than the Japanese samurai suits. This right here is where things get weird, because in Power Rangers Megaforce, they had mystical creatures on the side of their helmets, and the suits were mostly white besides the color on the top, which resembled a jacket. The symbols on their chest represents angels, as in the Super Sentai Japanese counterpart, Go-Sager. The protagonists were based on 10,000-year-old interdimensional angels. Like, what is Robo Knight if not an angel sent from above? But in the show, there were no angels at all, because angels means death, and we can't say death. We gotta say destroy. In Super Megaforce, though, the Megaforce team had the chance to transform into every Power Ranger ever. But they also gained a new Super Mega mode as well, which was pirate themed. What? They had pirate outfits, cutlasses, and even though there wasn't a single pirate in the show, they kept this theme. They roamed on a sky ship. Literally, skulls and swords on the chest and everything. But there's no Pirates of the Caribbean here. There's only a very small layer of Gokaiger influence. Gokaiger, the original Super Sentai, was celebrating the Super Sentai anniversary, and their team was about finding the mythical treasure of the world. And they did it with Ranger keys, because keys unlock chest. Why didn't Power Rangers did that? Next up, we have Power Rangers Dino Charge, where the suits once again showcased dinosaurs. These suits featured stripes on the chest that kind of resemble teeth, with their arms now looking more scaly than before. They also donned a single shoulder pad, which definitely was pretty interesting. But moving on real quick, let's talk about Saban's Power Rangers movie in 2017. As even though they were inspired by the original Mighty Morphin suits, they looked a lot more like Iron Man to these people. These suits were very armor heavy and translucent like because, you know, they were alien suits. Being from Zordon and his alien planet, instead of morphing, and yes, there is still a morpher on their suit in the belt region, even though there was no morpher in the movie except for a toy, these suits grew on the characters with their diamond centers glowing in their outfits. It was weird, but I liked it.
Move this man!
I did like it, I will say. For Ninja Steel, we got the return of a ninja motif, and the return of a now larger sash with a ninja star in motion. What I liked the most about these suits were the helmets that looked like ninja weapons. But hey, Gold Ranger's a cowboy. He has a cowboy helmet. It would have been cool if we had the Burger Morpher. We really dodged a bullet with that one. For Beast Morphers, spandex is over. And now we have leather suits. Zipper in the front, very jacket-like. Helmets that combine animal theming with sunglass-like visors. They also all got sleek black leather pants. Unless you're gold and you have thigh pads, you know, protection. No more shoulder pads. Wait, Silver has them. Silver has shoulder pads. Still the best. We also have like backpack straps in the front where, you know, they can, ouch, they can tap that and spawn a weapon. For Dino Fury, dinosaurs again. Well, these suits are very minimal with dinosaur helmets, but now they are the ones that look like teeth on the visor. We had some silver arms and gold accents that complete the suit. Unless you're gold, you had blue accents. They also had a holder for their Dino Fury keys. Nice touch. At least they're not just pulling it out of thin air. Where is it? Is it behind your suit? And now we have Cosmic Fury, the very first suit designed exclusively for Power Rangers for a whole team of Power Rangers, not based on any other Super Sentai. Well, I mean, their helmets are still based on Dino Fury and their Super Sentai Rio Soldier, but they all have shoulder pads that look low-key like shields, and they mostly are a solid color besides their silver gloves. Sorry Gold, he lost the blue. Javi at least gets a whole armored arm now, and their chest is more like a muscular vest, with the arms kind of being like a different section. Very intriguing. I could have done without, you know, the muscles. But hey, at least we got the Zenith Ranger and the return of the capes. We won again. And that is it for the evolution of Power Ranger suits. There are many more out there. There's some seen in the comic books with the Omega Rangers. There's the Street Fighter ones. There's the ones from, what's that one series? Cobra Kai. What was that? But that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, DonFuego. I'm also on Instagram, that's DonFuego. Have a good morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you're at. And of course, and as always, stay awesome, everybody.